And that's what we do here on Newspunch, from the beginning to the end. And that is why.
Good evening, viewers. My name is Chukwu Demabuko. You are welcome to another edition of your favorite current affairs program, the Newspunch. With me to do just today's topic is a veteran commentator and a journalist, Mr. Fatai Ogoribido. Fatai.
Good evening, Chooks.
Welcome.
Nice to see you again.
Thank you so much. Yeah, today we are going to talk about it's like every day there's always an issue to discuss. One day, one problem. Today we shall zero in on what is generally referred in Nigeria as Ruga, which is a Hausa Fulani word for settlements for the Fulani people. The issue of Ruga is the main topic in our country, Nigeria, today. And it has kind of polarized the society because of what people believe are the imports of the Ruga policy. That's a new one. So it has to do with cattle rearers and how they can be settled in almost every part of Nigeria against the will of majority of Nigerians. From those who know about it, there have been a reaction to what Ruga should be or what it should not. There is a group of Nigerians under the umbrella of Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum. They have described the establishment of cattle rearing settlements, which is what Ruga is, cattle rearing settlements for herdsmen, as a move to colonize Nigeria. Remember, not long ago, the former president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, said that there is a conscious attempt by the Buhari government to Islamize and Fulanize Nigeria. So a school of thought believe that this issue of Ruga is an attempt to further that agenda of Fulanizing and Islamizing Nigeria, because this thing go hand in hand. Remember that when Islam came to Nigeria, it was on a conquering mission. Islam came with the time the Fulanis came to Nigeria. So they imposed their way of life on the northern part of Nigeria, even trying to absorb the people they met on the ground, the Hausa people in the country. So now people are saying that if allowed to stay, Ruga is going to kind of influence or further the agenda to Islamize and Fulanize Nigeria, if you permit that word. Advocates of Ruga say that it will restrict herdsmen to a certain space for proper control, which will quell herdsmen farmers clashes. Remember, before now, there have been a kind of violent clashes between the herdsmen and mainly farmers from the southern parts of Nigeria in the quest of the Fulani, the cattle headers, to further go down the southern part of Nigeria to further feed their cattle. So this has led to a loss of lives and property. The people who are most on the receiving end are the farmers down south. And over time, when this was at its infancy, before it's blowjob to where it is today, the government really didn't do much to tackle the issue. And as some people can point to you today, there is nobody in Nigeria today who is in custody or who being detained or being convicted for the numerous killings that have gone on since these headers began to carry weapons along the way. So that is what we have come to discuss today. Do Nigerians want Ruga? Yes or no? Ruga or no? Now, the government has made the policy let me address you now. Yeah. The government has kind of made it a policy, as a policy document. They came out and said that about 12 states, which they didn't mention the names, have agreed to donate, to give their lands, to give a kind of maybe a number of hectares of land for these Fulani cattle rearers to develop or to settle in different states. How does this impact on Nigerians?
Thank you, Chuks.
Good evening, Nigerians. Nice to see you once again. Honestly, I don't want to sound critical or pessimistic about the activities of this government. But one thing is sacrosanct here. We have to be realistic. And even in the face of your criticism, no matter how well intended or whether it's got any personal reason, the truth still have to be told. You see, one thing I want you to know today is, even during the military era, have you ever seen Nigerians be so polarized? So when the sort of division is coming within the country, it goes to show that there is a major problem that is at hand, which needs to be tackled with this. As we are speaking today, there is serious trouble within even the southern part of Nigeria, which completely, more or less is the victim of this Fulanization. Because it's like you are bringing in your own culture to be enforced on the people who have been very, very peaceful, who have been somehow resilient, even in the face of so much humiliation, deprivation, so much backwardness being calculatively, entrenched. And yet, that is from my personal opinion and from the readings that is on ground. So right now, Nigerians have every cause to raise eyebrow. What is all this Ruga agenda what is all about? We have every reason to ask questions. And if you go back to the history of this government, right from the last dispensation, you can see that many of the decisions being taken has always been pro-Fulani decisions. Let's take it from the angle of the security mechanism in Nigeria. Every section of the security areas in Nigeria being filled by Fulani people. A lot of things are happening that even the government remains silent about. They don't care. The issue of herdsmen carrying AK-47 is there. It's not been addressed. We had in June 2019, when the youths of Arewas even made a declaration that they wanted to secede, and giving Igbos about 3 months to leave the country, and all these issues were not being addressed. Imagine if IPOB had made such a declaration, or if in the Southwest, Gani Adams group came up and said, because of the way things are going on, we don't want Northerners in the South. What could have been the reaction of the government? And yet, up to today, nothing is being said about such declaration that even for the whole of the period that the deadline was given, there wasn't any major elder statesman from the north that spoke about it, until about 2 or 3 days to the expiration, in order to inform the general public, until few days to the expiration. Then LFI came and said, okay, they should not be taken seriously. And since that, attempt to douse detention, up till now, nothing has been done. So people have every reason to ask questions. What is the real agenda of this government? Every Nigerian owes the duty of asking questions. And the way everything is going on now, it's like everything traceable back to the amalgamation.
Before you come to amalgamation, there is Nigerians, if you look at by 2015, Buhari came to power on a crest of popular expectations and support, kind of. Yeah. And over time, people are beginning, for example, this policy of Ruga now, people are beginning to oppose things he has done. Most of the things he has done in power. Why do you think this kind of that love-hate relationship has existed now between him and Nigerians.
You see, one thing I want you to know, Chooks, is this. No matter what lies do to overpower the truth, it will crumble eventually. Prior to 2015 election, the evidence is there. We have many of us who understand the narratives in Nigeria have critically, voiced out that, Buhari might not be the best for Nigeria. It's not the message that we need and that. But people are already diminished to most of the views that we were given during that period of time. And now look back to the 4 years of Buhari. For those who saw Buhari as their messiah, they still defend it. They still say that, it's still the messiah that they have. Even whatever Buhari does, even if he spits out, they are ready to lick it and say, yes, it is honey. Yeah. So these are the problems that actually has been going on, which many people are not facing the reality about.
Okay, we'll come to that later. We have a caller on the line. Vincent from Italy. Hello, Vincent.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello, Vincent.
Yes, I'm hearing you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
You want to make contributions?
Yes, please.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, I want to say something. Yeah, can you hear me? Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask this question. These headers, don't they have home space where they come from originally?
Okay, is that your question?
Yes, if they have home space, why then do you need to go and settle them in other parts of the federation, which they don't come from? That is my question. For instance, now, my surname tells you I am from the southeast. Will the federal government go to settle me in the southwest when actually they know I am from the southeast? That is my question. Then another issue is that the government are telling us that they want to use this Ruga system, to end headers farmers clashes. Okay, is that correct? So then, who are the headers and who are the farmers? You see where they are making mistakes. Then they are now coming to tell us that the Ruga system is for everybody. If initially they made us to understand they want to use it to settle the headers farmers crisis. So that it tells everybody there is a hidden agenda. Because you cannot come to settle a Fulani man in the southeast or go to settle him in the south or in the southwest. They have home states, so they should be settled in their home states, period.
We'll give you an answer now. Thank you so much for your contribution. You heard what Vincent said, and the question he asked. He asked, don't they have a home state? Why settling them? Why are they taking them away from where they originally come from, and then transporting them to a different place? What is the rationale for that?
Well, thank you, Vincent, for that question, because when I started making my comment, I said, as Nigerians, we have every reason to ask questions. This is part of the question that is being asked. Since Nigerian independence, we have witnessed lots and lots of uprising in the north, like Matasine, the Fulani trying to create some terrorism within the country, and the such problems being quenched, But the point now is the level, at which this thing is being handled now. Every section of Nigerian institution being Fulanized, security services being Fulanized, every section of the ministry, many of the major events, the pillars that hold the nation, being filled by the Fulanis. So it gives everybody the instinct that there might be a hidden agenda by this government. So why people are asking questions needs to be asked, because we all have a stake as Nigerians. And now, we know the history of how Fulani through Bandafudio came to the north, and how even in the south we had the Europeans now invading us, and they're trying to find inroad to the north. and they're meeting somewhere along the line, and so what is happening now is that we are right in the middle as Africans, as Nigerians, in the middle of both the turban and the tie.
Okay, we have another caller on the line. Ambassador George. Hello, Ambassador George.
Yes.
Good evening.
Hello. Yeah. Good evening.
Yes. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes. Okay. I've been listening to what you are saying, and I thank you very much for raising that Ruga issue here. And I believe actually that this issue of Fulanization is not an agenda that started during Buhari administration. It has started long time, even during Babangida and all those people. But the issue is Buhari now is coming to make it to happen. He's coming to make it to happen. And unfortunately, he was doing it in the wrong way. I don't think that there's anything wrong in providing ranches for cattle to settle. After all, some cattle rearers has been very present in the southeast, and they have a place where they have been given. They live there and they rear their cattle there. But the issue of trying to Fulanize is now the issue that is making them to take all these cattle into farms to eat people's products from the farm, so that when the villagers come to challenge them, and then they will kill them with their AK-47s and all those stuff. So that's the problem we have. And when those people are killed, the government is not doing anything about it. So that's the problem. So I don't think that there's any problem in giving them a land to be, if they are really serious with their agri, that they want to be there and help the Nigerians. Like in Southeast, they use cow a lot for different occasions. But unfortunately, this issue now is becoming a problem that the Southeast have now beginning to reject cows. So now, the government should pull back their herdsmen, who I think that is part of Boko Haram, coming to the Southeast to convert the people to force people to buy into Islam. So that's what I'm saying. That it is important for in this program now to tell the government that they should pull back their land. There's no place for Ruga in Southeast at all. Thank you very much.
Ambassador, before you go, you said that is being handled in a wrong way. What would have been the better way for it to be handled?
Well, the thing is that when people are killed, when people are killed in any country, especially when it concerns a village, the government is supposed to set up an inquiry to find out what has climaxed and started. But unfortunately, the government did not do anything. They remained dormant upon series of killings in Kogi, in Enugu, in Nsukka, and all the others. That shows that the government knows what they are doing.
Justified now. People are justified to oppose the move. Do you think so?
Yes, a lot of people now are opposing that Ruga moves. Yes, of course.
Thank you so much for your incisive analysis. Thank you. You've heard him. He said that it has been on a wrong footing. Yeah. That's given and the decision of this government, they did not punish the wrong, the killings that was done before. Nothing was said out by the government now. So coming to that is why people are not conducive No, so they're not receiving this. They have not received this government policy. Do you buy that idea?
Definitely. Well, let me even remind you. You know, some weeks ago, the government said they were cancelling every private ammunition-owned licenses. What is that to mean? That is, if you have any ammunition that could make you to be confrontational with the Fulanis, you have been dispossessed. That's the meaning. So why is it that the same government is not, promulgating a law that will make every Fulani that owns an AK-47 to be an offender, to be a criminal?
In the first instance, they're not supposed to be walking along the street with
AK-47.
How did they get it?
How did they get it? Let me explain to you.
Initially, the Fulani we know, the Fulani cattle head that we know before, are the people who carry their guns
and the stick.
They carry their stick,
exactly,
and they go on the streets. They were friendly with
drinking
everybody.
water, exactly.
Until things changed. We started seeing them
and we heard them whistling to control the crowd
over their shoulder.
Exactly.
That was when the whole thing changed.
So let me. Yeah, you asked a question of that. Okay, how did they come about the AK-47?
Yeah,
because majority of the owners of these cattle rearers are in government, and what they are doing, they are protecting their business, and because they are in power, they think they have that, power of fire. They can do anything to subdue the entire nation and impose their will upon the nation. Okay. This is the reason why.
Okay, we have an uncle on the line. Austin from London. Austin, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good evening.
Evening.
Welcome to the program.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yeah, sorry, sir. I've been listening to what people are saying about the Ruga. Yeah, you see, the problem Nigeria has is that, my contribution is that the problem with Nigeria has that we are cowards from the A to Z. You see, there's no difference between the black and the white. The Northerners have the different culture and the Easterners have the different culture. So, for the Northerners to bring their culture to the Easterners, it doesn't work. So, if the case should be, we should understand that there's a difference between us and them, that the cattle Ruga can never and ever work in the Easterners because we are not cattle Rugas. So, Nigeria should stand up and tell the president that this situation can never work, and it's called for a demonstration and uprising. There's nothing like speaking, calling. These people have decided on what to do. Discussion, calling, all these things cannot stop them. They have decided on what to do. The only solution to this is just wake up and do uprising. You see what happened in Tunisia? So for us to be talking and they are performing, action speaks louder than voice. They are taking the action. We are on the side of talking. They have taken decision. So what I'm suggesting that Nigerians should stand up. What you don't like cannot happen to your place. If we don't like it, it cannot happen. We should stand up and say no to it. And by taking uprising against the present government, that's what I want to suggest.
Okay, you are calling for uprising.
Because these people have decided to do whatever they want to do. If there's no uprising in Nigeria, we have to. If we continue like this, thy kingdom come.
But who will bail the cats?
Let the who they bail the cats. What are we talking about? Nigerians are there. See what happened in Tunisia. See what happened in Egypt. Then who do we want? Do you want the Western world to come and bail the cat for us?
Thank you for your contribution, Austin. Yeah, he is taking the different level altogether.
Oh, yeah.
He's saying that people should vent their anger and then show that a kind of a protest.
He has made a valid point. If you are being called a fool and you refuse to defend that you're a fool, so the person accusing you of being a fool will continue eating you as a fool. So definitely, well, I know something in Nigeria. Something might be happening in Nigeria very soon, because when you are chasing a dog, and the dog keeps running until it gets to a wall, I mean, eventually, if there is no way to go, it will turn back on you as the chaser of that dog. So
there are people who believe that the president has not put himself in a very tight corner in terms of the fact that the way he appoints people in positions of power, they come from a particular group.
This is the point I've been trying to make.
And people always see that he promotes one another agenda, ethnic agenda. He does not take the interest of Nigerians. No, Nigeria is a disparate society made up of more than 350 ethnic groups.
Exactly.
And the constitution recognized it. That's why he said that for you to do anything, there must be federal character and all things. But it is only this government that has come that does not reflect federal character. They are only comfortable when all the appointments come from one part of the country. I mean, it does not give room for people to believe in you.
Earlier on, I was explaining to you that I wouldn't want to sound a bit pessimistic about this government, because most of the time people know I'm always critical of the government. But as I said, these are questions that we have to be asking. So it goes to show that even Ruga, the agenda, didn't start from now. It started right from last time. And now that they know that our crutches are in their hand, they can press it and break it. Now they cannot go ahead with what they want to do.
Okay.
So the victim now, in this case now, are the Southerners, because the fear of the unknown now, the uncertainties that is confronting Nigeria now is unprecedented. And everybody is nervous. Every backyard, at every home, the people are peeping what might be entering. Overnight, what might be happening. So, and yet, those people who are still trying to, sound a good trumpet of this government, they keep defending the government.
Okay.
And the rhetoric, keeps getting louder. And the sycophancy is getting more echoed, and people are being subdued psychologically. And with what Nigerians are going through, hunger everywhere. So people are being subdued. The mental being of Nigerians have been eroded. It's unfortunate that we are going through this as a country. A country that should be leading the black world in development.
Okay, thank you very much. And viewers, we are going up for a short break. When we come back, we will continue with this discussion, and our new guest will join us shortly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Latla Shabangu, the president of Miss Heritage Global. Miss Heritage Global is a beauty pageant that was established in 2012.
Miss Heritage Global is not just a beauty pageant. It's an opportunity. Think about this. What is heritage? Heritage is culture. What is culture? If you have received this video, you're probably very good friends or very good enemies of this word. Because culture is how we live. Culture is how we interact with each other. And of course, I have to say that other word. Culture is lifestyle. Now think about Miss Heritage Global. 50 beautiful women from around the world meeting in one place to spend a week displaying, sharing, and living culture. The opportunity is to create ambassadors out of these queens. Create content out of their interactions and experiences with each other and with your brand. These experiences will connect with audiences through conversation that will give your brand visibility across all platforms. These experiences will connect with audiences through conversation. Think about these conversations for a second. Because culture and the interaction of different cultures is at the center of pop culture, the conversation will tap into existing world topics that will be sure to attract a social media response. The war, migration, terrorism, religion, the Me Too movement, cultural appropriation. This experience allows the contestants to have these conversations in a meaningful, authentic way where they can say how they really feel and get the followers, friends, and family rooting and supporting them by becoming part of the conversation. It's also an opportunity to inspire the world to take a moment and learn about a new culture and develop tolerance and understanding for one another. This is what is at the heart of the Miss Heritage brand: unity in diversity. So what are they going to be doing in Ghana? Apart from exploring Ghana's super rich culture through site visits and multiple curated activities and experiences, Heritage Week features some events that will give prime visibility across all media and engagement points. The Polo event is the sexy fashion high-end event for socialites and influencers. Money raised from ticket sales will be donated to a charity in Ghana. The charity event is our CSI project. The contestants will spend a fun day with kids at a heritage site, learning about Ghanaian culture and having some local food and fun. The Ambassadors Night is a gold carpet black tie event hosted by the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Trade and Industry Ghana. This is a business-to-business event with the ambassadors from contestants' countries in attendance. And of course, the Big Night, which is a colorful, vibrant exhibition of the cultures of the world through music, dance, fashion, and a guest list of A-list influencers in business and entertainment. With a combined social media following of over 1 million people from 50 countries around the world, Miss Heritage Global is set to be an annual content event that will engage, educate, inspire, trigger, and entertain. And your brand could be front and center.
Welcome back, viewers. Before we went on break, we are discussing the issue of Ruga in Nigeria, to be or not to be. We have been joined by another of our regular guests, Mr. Spencer Anienwelo, who is director of Prime View Television. Mr. Anienwelo, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we have been discussing about Ruga, what it portends for Nigeria, the pros and the cons. And one of the cons, the cons of this Ruga thing is that is a kind of, it will jeopardize the unity of Nigeria. People say that it is against the unity of Nigeria to import people from one section of Nigeria to the other, from north to south. It's one of those things. And then that these people who are being imported to the south have engaged in numerous killings without any consequence. Mr. Anienwelo, can you come in?
Thank you for that. What I'd say is there's a big misconception about this whole scheme called Ruga. People have said it means, Ruga means a certain word in Fulani. We've heard that it means a word in Hausa, but Ruga means rural grazing area.
No, sorry, to cut in, Ruga is not an abbreviation.
Well, that's
a word.
Well, I'm telling you that that's this
propaganda to say that Ruga is a rural grazing area.
Well,
no. That is, Ruga is a word, Hausa word. We have to educate our viewers properly.
Yes, but yes. I told you it's an Hausa word. But yes, I just said at the same time, it still stands for.
We should.
No, it's correct.
It is
at the same time.
No.
Okay, I'll give you an instance. During the Buhari's first tenure, there was an acronym called WHY. Why? War against indiscipline. In Igbo, we used to call it Wepo Ajoihe. Right? So it's just one of those things. Anyway, back to what I was going to say. There's this misconception that the federal government is going to force this down the throats of the states. Now, we have to understand it. In Nigeria, the states land belongs to the states. Right? So there's no way the federal government is going to force any state to take on this scheme. Now, this scheme is voluntary. That's why it's very important we educate Nigerians. This scheme is a voluntary scheme whereby the interested states need to apply, okay, to take part in this scheme. Now, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a scheme that's going to see billions of naira being brought into states who want to participate. This means that animal husbandry is now going to be organized in such a way that we see in the Western world. Now, this is the reality. Now, people are there scaremongering and making people afraid of what, by all intents and purposes, is going to curb the issue that's been going on for over 50 years of herdsmen running into people's farms and killing people in the process. right? Do we want this problem solved or not? So this is the question. Now, Garuba Shehu came out on TV the other day to explain this whole thing and said to people, there's no need for people to be afraid. No state is going to be forced to take on this scheme. It's totally voluntary, and I don't see what the problem is. Now, the 12 states have already shown interest in it, okay? Now, what is the problem? These 12 states want to take it on. Let them have it, by all means. If you don't want to take it and you're in the South, then that's your problem. No one's forcing you. So that's all I want to say for now.
Okay, people are. I want to bring out the issues. That's what we are discussing here.
Yeah.
People are wondering, why would a government be only interested? Herding is a kind of agriculture.
Business.
A private business.
Yes.
People are into farming.
Yes.
People are into poultry farming. People
Yes.
are into different things. Why is it only the issue of cattle rearers that will now be exported, that will now be supported by the government, by the states, by budgeting billions of naira to establish a settlement in areas where they are alien?
Okay, the answer after this is simple. When markets are built, right? They were talking about infrastructure. I remember in Anambra State, for instance, there was a market called the Building Materials Market. It was moved to my village in Ogidi. When this market was built, the governor had to build a new market for the people. It's called infrastructure. You need to build it. You can't leave it for the private sector. It's been left for the private sector over the years, and we've seen what's happened. Give a businessman a free hand, he'll take the cheapest option. What we're saying now is government intervention, and that's what's required in every sane society. Government's coming in. The animal husbandry business has never been organized in Nigeria. The last time it was organized was when Obudo Ranch was initiated, which was in 1951. And that was done by the colonial masters, the white people. Now, we're seeing a government that said, look, we're not going to put up with this. We need to sort solutions to this problem, and that's what they're doing.
Okay. Do you agree to what he has said?
Well, I actually refuse to go along with him because we have seen what has been trending in the past few months in Nigeria. An ordinary herdsman in the bush carrying AK-47. We have the issue of kidnapping everywhere. Killings. And we know prior to this, there's a guest on
okay. There's a caller on the line.
Francis. Yeah.
Francis. Hello, Francis. We have lost the caller.
I think he will call back. As I was saying, prior to the Ruga issue, we know what has been happening in Nigeria for the past few months. Killings everywhere, kidnapping everywhere, and communities have been invaded. Farms are being so destroyed. And then nothing is being said by the government. And what I realized in the last few weeks of defending this Ruga is those who have always been following the trend of this government and giving them support are still the same people trying to say that Ruga is normal.
Okay, so
and then
we will not to cut too short. We have another caller on the line before we lose him.
Okay.
Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
Good evening.
Good evening. Come in with your contribution.
Okay. I just want to say, talk about the Luga. Mr. Spencer, your guest there, doesn't know the meaning of Luga. In Fulani language, means hut, building, like estate. But he's saying another thing there. And another thing, he's speaking like if he wants to defend government, he can join the government of Buhari. Because what happened about this is that they doesn't carry the people around by the initiative. If you want to build something in Anambra State, you have to involve the people of Anambra State. We, the people, can invest in that Ruga, not the foreigners from Mali and Niger. You understand? But the way they are doing it is they are hidden agenda. It's not open. We don't know what they are doing. We are bringing people from Niger. People they say they are terrorists, killing people in Benue and other places. At the end of the day, they say they are coming from foreign land. Now you want to settle them in Anambra State and Imo State in the southeast. Let them settle them in far north, maybe Meduguri, Sambisa Forest, where there is land. We don't have land for them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We heard what he said.
Yes.
It's because of that that you don't know the meaning of what Ruga is.
Well, I did point out that it is an Hausa word rather than a Fulani word, right? And that's what he doesn't understand, right? And then I still said that it's an abbreviation as well. You can still see the meaning there. Now, for me, I can say that the current administration hasn't really done very well in terms of with the National Orientation Agency, for instance, in terms of disseminating information and carrying people along. I agree with him there, right? They could have done a better job. However, we have to look at the bigger picture here. What is the intention of this scheme? The intention is to curb the issue. A few years ago, in 2016, the problem was Fulani herdsmen. It was a big issue. The administration is not doing anything about it. Nothing's being done. Now there's a solution on board, something that would go, or an attempt to try and get this issue resolved. Now we have to look at the benefits here.
Okay, sorry, before I come to the benefits, keep it there. We have a call on the line. Francis. Francis on the line.
This is Francis.
Yeah, Francis.
This is Yinka. Thank you very much that I missed the first call. And the guy that spoke before me said something about Ruga. And he was telling us the interpretation in Hausa. Spencer, I doff my cap here for you. You are the first person that has been honest in this issue that has been going on. I am very proud of you. Being an Igbo man, to come out openly and say the truth and nothing but the truth. Let me now buttress your point, Spencer. You remember a kind of, what they call it, the footage that was going on in Enugu, that they are now sending all the Fulanis, the cow Fulanis, with their cow out of Enugu. It was a film trick. It was a film trick. Yesterday, the governor came out saying that nothing like that happened in his own town, in his own state. This is the way people are now trying to kandahar the brain of people, making them to fight each other. Let me tell you this fact today for the national television, for those of us that want to know. Sango Katav issue was this issue of nomadic people coming now to Maiduguri, and that was the time that they are now stealing their cows, and there are a lot of wars. Let me be honest with you. When you don't have issues and you don't have problems, and people are creating it without knowing anything. What's his name? Okuribido was saying people are hungry. Can you show me the hungry people in which state? Is it in your state? Is it in the north? Is it in the south? Why are you talking like this in the national television? This is the best practice we can do. Any state that refuse to have this Fulani to have their own ranches, Ruga in their state, they will lack meat and they are going to lack nourishment food. When you think you are playing to the gallery and the politicians are using it as an issue to play game with us, let us see, wait and see. He has said it, Spencer said it. The state governor owns his own state. Buhari will not be so foolish to say that I want this land from a state by force. Look at Operation Feed the Nation that Obasanjo turned to Obasanjo's farm. Nobody talks. But by the time you are now facing Buhari as Buhari alone, people talk about this thing. It's a wrong issue, and we want people like you to prioritize this and let us talk to our people that we must give room for peace in Nigeria. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Spencer, I adore for you for the first time. Igbo man talking the truth and nothing but the truth. May you be blessed. Thank you, Barbara.
This is for your contribution. From like what you have just said, it's well taken. And the truth of the matter, as Spencer has also acknowledged, there have been no good campaign to promote this issue up till now in a way that will get people's confidence, because people are reacting to this issue of Ruga based on their fears and what they know as the antecedents of these presidents of Nigeria today. For example, people are saying that these same Fulani people went on a killing spree. Nothing was said about it. So they saw a kind of hidden agenda in the government policy to translate or transport this Ruga policy from the north to the south. So before you can get people's confidence, you need to do some campaign. You need to get people's confidence by your own actions. Yeah, So
actually, Chuk, let me explain to you. Yinka is a regular caller to this station. during the program. And I know what he stands for. He's a hardcore APC man, and he has attacked me for more than 3-4 years. I know he has because he's trying to, I mean, it's like he's thinking that I'm misinforming people. There are 3 categories of people who are actually crazy about this government. The first one has to do with those with the religion alliance. The second one has to do with political alliance, and the third one are those people who are trying maybe to look for business under the government.
Yes,
understand? So they will do everything to make sure that they defend this government.
Okay, thank you. We have a call on the line. Bola. Hello, Bola.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
This is Bola speaking.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm a regular caller of them right from day one.
Yes.
And I'm happy to have met the program today.
Okay.
Now, coming to Nigerian matter, if these sort of programs are not being broadcasted lively like this throughout the world, we will not be able to contribute, and we will know which way Nigeria gets to go.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of people in Nigeria that doesn't have opportunity of maybe light or something to watch such program, or they cannot, get the TV from their own TV there. Like we have people all over, instead of coming to the TV program or any other radio program to criticize this government that is on now, why don't we utilize that time and privilege to educate our people that we check our past, check our present, and check our future? If you check the past events, I don't think for the past 20 years we've got any good record in Nigeria to talk about. Because this same man we are now criticizing came in to this his first term government not quite a year. He was paying credit of the debits that people have owned for years to workers. He comes to the heads of people that are suffering for the Boko Haram. The people that collected money to fight this thing from the world nation, what do they use the money for? Why don't you, this type of man now, go there or talk to Ben Television then that these people, they are killing our people? We have rituals all over Nigeria then where they sell heads, finger, tongue, every part human body, like they are selling rice and beans on the road. You didn't come to the TV to talk about it. Why do we not go for good things in our life? What has happened during the Diagbo time that they said they killed the cocaine people? Is what is repeating itself now? Is it a dino that we always wait for? Don't let us say because we want to benefit from one government, we should be criticizing the truth. Let the truth prevail. We need it. We need to move on, for goodness sake.
We thank you. If you're a regular listener to this program, you will know that every week we come with a different topic. We don't dwell on one issue every day. The other time we talked about the killings in Nigeria, the kind of insecurity in Nigeria. We talk about them. Today we are talking about the issue of the moment. So it's not as if we are here to just criticize. We want to give away a kind of profile ways Nigeria can be good. Every one of us here have a stake in Nigeria. That Nigeria is a better country than it is today. That's why we are here talking about issues of importance to the country on a weekly basis. So we cannot dwell on violence, on ritual killings every day. And remember, there is a government in Nigeria. If that government has been performing very well, they would have brought this issue of kidnapping, issue of ritual killing to the barest minimum. But as you rightly pointed out, it is always being is escalating every day. So that's an indictment on the sitting government that they're not doing all that they ought to do to make Nigeria and Nigerians a better country. I'm taking that call again.
Can I just say the benefits I wanted to highlight?
Yeah.
When you look at this scheme, you now realize that it's all about animal husbandry. That's what it's all about. It's not just about cattle. Animal husbandry is all encompassing. You talk about piggery, you talk about all sorts of animals. Okay, so it's not just about cattle here. And I want Nigerians to know that it behoves us as people to highlight, to get governors, to prevail on our governors, to look at how to take advantage of this scheme. So governors could actually say to themselves, yes, we're not people that produce rare cattle, but this is an opportunity for them, some of them, to go into animal husbandry in terms of cattle.
We are here to educate the people.
That's what I'm trying to educate them.
Who are talking about this Ruga? Let me list to you what Ruga entails.
Okay.
Ruga is a compound set of ranches, as you said.
Yep.
Schools, veterinary clinics,
yes,
forage farms, hospitals,
like a
police,
mini village,
police posts, roads, abattoir, markets,
yes,
and bus park.
Yes.
This is a local government on its own.
Yes. Now, what I suggest and what I'm saying that state governors who are forward-thinking should be thinking about doing now is they should be giving the federal government some sort of a clause. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying to the federal government, for instance, you want to have a local content policy involved in this, right? That way, indigenes will take part in this. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. There are Fulani people and Hausa people still already resident in these areas, right? All over Nigeria, they're everywhere. Yeah. If you want cattle tomorrow, you need to go to a Novana. And they're all in our state, in our villages. They're there. So now, this is not going to make any difference, but it's an opportunity for state governors who are forward-thinking to educate their people and say to the people, look, this is going to create jobs for our people. We're going to include a local content clause in this thing to the federal government, which means that our people will be involved in it too. There's no law that says cattle is the exclusive preserve of the Fulani people. Yes. In the UK we stay, beef is not sold by the Fulani people. It's sold by human beings. So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. We must tell ourselves the truth. We need to curb this issue of herdsmen, farmers killing each other. We must stop.
Do you think this will bring an end to the killing?
It would stem the issue. It will stem it a whole lot. Because now what we'll be seeing is people who normally are marauders who walk around everywhere with the cattle, now kept in a confined area. Now you can't get it better than that. That's what we have everywhere. So that means there's not going to be issues of encroaching on people's farms anymore. That's going to be limited to a barest minimum. That's a fact. Now, if we want the solution to this problem, we need to face the hard facts. No solution is foolproof. There's always going to be issues. But we must tell ourselves the truth. In Nigeria today, insecurity is a problem. This scheme would curb the issue of herdsmen, right? It would make farmers freely. Our agricultural yields will be up again. We have to look at the positives here, not just the negatives. If you want to go for an operation, for instance, I'm going to close on this. If you want to go for a surgery, the doctors will tell you there's always some side effects that might come with it. All right? There might be some side effects, but that's where state governors need to look at it and say, look, let's look at this. How can we make this work? This is going to be massive investment. Let me tell you what's going to happen in the next few years. Some of the 12 states are going to be beneficiaries of this. And do you know what's going to happen years to come? They're going to have the monopoly of animal husbandry in Nigeria. And that's when people are going to turn around and say, we're being marginalized. You're not being marginalized, because when the scheme was brought up for you to partake in it, you refused. That's what I was saying.
Okay, what competition?
Anyway, Spencer is doing a very good PR for this government. And I just pray that in future you don't live to regret all the points I'm making tonight. Now, we have those who have always been the legion of Nigerian governance since independence. And these are people who are authority when it comes to Nigerian events and political events. Now, when we talk about those who have dominated Nigerian governance, we know them. The ex-military, juggernauts who actually fought last in the Civil War. And we're talking about the likes of Abdul Salam, Obasanjo, Babangida, Buhari, and you understand me? So these are the people that has always produced Nigerian leadership, either through the back door or through any means. They must always find a way to manipulate the nation to make sure they present the person that is of their choice. Now, among these caucus, among this group of Keba are the inner caucus, who are mainly being controlled by the Emirates and who are hardcore Fulanis. Now, knowing a bit of all this agenda that is coming, the entire pyramid of these people have collapsed. And that's why you see the reason why Obasanjo, Danjuma, and Babangida are not aligned with this government, because they know the reality of what is coming. And Danjuma came telling Nigerians.
Sorry, we have
OBJ came telling Nigerians that danger is coming.
Yes.
And yet people are trying to find a way to defend this government.
That time.
We pray we don't live to regret all this defense of the Buhari government.
Thank you so much.
Can I just say something before we go?
We have come to the end of this program.
10 seconds. All I want to say to Nigerians is our beef, our milk, our cheese, our butter, animal hide, leather comes from this same industry. Yes. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. We must defend this industry, and we must make sure that the killings of innocent people and farmers is stemmed. Okay. This is a solution that we have. We must imbibe it and take it on.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Posterity will judge us all anyway.
Thank you so much, Mr. Spencer. Thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
Fatai, thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you,
viewers.
Thank you very much.
We thank you so much for being with us.
Always my pleasure.
We have come to the end of today's program. We promise to be with you next week with another thrilling topic. Thank you and good night.